Hello and welcome everybody on today's presentation of Utopian Global. My name is Claudia Eifert and I very much welcome you on this beautiful Saturday evening for us here in Europe. And I know we have a lot of people from down under and New Zealand, which is very early mornings, Asia, very early mornings, and still morning in America. So welcome all of you on today's call of Utopian Global. We're going to talk about obviously the ecosystem of Utopian Global in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're going to talk and focus on real assets, real income. And today on this presentation, we're going to focus very much as well on precious metals, on gold. Well, gold is a huge theme. We have been in gold or silver since 11 years, Utopian Global. Bill Rao and gold is certainly a very, very interesting thing to talk about. So I hope you guys stay all on the call today and watch, listen, and certainly learn. So just a very quick introduction on Utopian Global, what really Utopian Global is. Well, Utopian Global is a unique marketing platform for physical precious metals, has been doing so since 2008, and an income producing energy asset store. That's one of our products. That's a very new product, only be since really 6-7 months now in place, but based on very, very long history and connections with our founder, Bill Rao, and all in the energy space. And it's an income producing asset, as I said. And of course, a professional education system. So education has always been very big part in our company because it's because of the lack of knowledge that people, of course, don't are where they would like to be in life. And a affiliate marketing system, and the affiliate market system is really designed so that you can make money very fast cash. Everybody wants that. And so let's go just quickly to Bill Rao, the founder and CEO of Utopian Global. He's with me on the call today, and he's gonna giving us a little bit of teachings today on precious metals a little bit later on. But I just want to say hello meanwhile to Bill. Hi, Bill. Bill, unfortunately, it looked like Bill, people couldn't hear you. So somehow they couldn't hear you. So they didn't understand anything which you said. So would you mind to just repeat it, please? And no, unfortunately not.
Okay, just testing. I'm on my phone. Can you hear me now? Okay, that's great. My apologies there. You just saw my lips moving. Okay, well, that's not much good. Okay, it's great to be on today's call, Saturday afternoon. So welcome to everyone joining us in many parts of the world. Claudia wants to touch a bit more on gold and silver today. So this really goes back to the premise of how it all started 11 years ago. As you can see here, I'm actually standing in the Argel Horizon refinery in Switzerland. It's about a 9-kilo bar, probably a market value, spot price value, let's say over 400,000, actually 450,000 probably currently. And there they that's where we get our ingots produced, our gold collectibles produced, and good delivery bars are produced there. In fact, Argyle Horizon supply about 20% of the world's gold supply. But it started off back in 2008 under the premise of Joseph Wealth System, named after the story of Joseph and the Pharaoh of the Old Testament in ancient Egypt times, where they primarily, the story goes, as many people on this call are probably familiar, Joseph had a very smart concept as a result of the Pharaoh's dream. 7 years of prosperity were going to be followed by 7 years of famine. Okay, so he said, well, let's save, let's prepare for this bad cycle, this downturn in economic cycle due to the economic climate or the climate change effect they had back then. So the drought. So they actually saved 20% of their production in grains and different things. So when the famine did come, of course, they had food, they had grains. And it's recorded as the greatest wealth transfer in history because they saved when others did not. And of course, when people wanted to be fed, they had to come to the Pharaoh. They came to Joseph. They opened up the storehouse. They just didn't give it to the people. They actually sold it to them. And it's recorded as one of the greatest wealth transfers. They paid for it with their labor. They paid for it with any furniture, plant, or equipment that they had. Anything they had of value, they would actually exchange that for the grains to be able to feed during those 7 years. And this is really an important point in today's world. We live in such a consumption economy. How many of us are savers, and what do we save in? And we're going to touch on this a little bit later on in the presentation, Claudia.
Thank you, Bill. Absolutely, we will. So I hope that you guys are staying on the call so that you are going to learn and do what back then they did in ancient Egypt times. Obviously, but we all need as well income. We do need income now. We do need income for future generations. That is very much important. And we do need pension funds, etc., etc. So what we have with Utopian Global, as you saw in the beginning, or you learned in the beginning, we obviously have a whole ecosystem where on one hand side you can diversify in precious metals, and you're going to learn why you really should, but you also can tap into STORE. STORE stands for Sustainable Technology and Resource Holdings, where you tap into the largest industry in the world, which is of course investing in resources that power the world. So that is really the largest industry. Everybody needs energy. We do need energy. In fact, we need every day more energy because the population is growing. So that's why obviously investments in energy, in the energy sector, tapping into the energy sector is very, very important. STORE is a separate company. It's a product which is being promoted through Utopian Global Network, but it's a separate company. The company is head up by Ryan Messer. He's the founder and the CEO. Now, the idea was originated by our founder and CEO, Bill Rowell, because of his long relationship he had with Ryan Messer and some of the other people which you see here on the board. In fact, James Stewart, one of them, and most certainly Philip Judge. In fact, Bill had invested into $1 million into an energy fund. I also had invested into an energy fund many, many years ago. Why? Well, because we wanted to have a passive income, and this energy fund, which was headed up by Ryan Messer and Philip Judge many years ago, in fact 2003, 2004, did provide exactly that. So the STORE team, as you see, has a 250 years combined energy market expertise. So you're going to learn a little bit more about that today as well in this upcoming slide. But it's an amazing concept, and this amazing concept, of course, is actually making it accessible, different types of energy sources, energy investments, which usually wouldn't be even, there for you. They would be really reserved for the top elite, the 2%, because normally these people have access to it. So STORE is really a diversified portfolio in a single investment vehicle, investing in energy resource assets, that's natural gas, that's liquids, mineral recovery technology, infrastructure projects, as well as plastic recycling and sustainable technology and services. So basically the company is crowdfunding in one sense their money so that they can invest into those different projects, and these different projects will give a return, that's basically in a very short nutshell. I'm just diving a little bit deep into it, or a little bit deeper into it. So one of the projects, in fact, since 6 months, 7 months, I said Store is actually now in the market, in the pre-launch really, and we could already now, or we could actually say, or we can say now, we have already 3 projects under the belt, 2 smaller and 1 larger one, which is the Texas oil producing field. In fact, it's an amazing project there, an amazing field owned by industry experts and a Catholic scholar fund, and now part owned by Store, meaning everybody who in Utopian Global purchased Store actually does have a portion in it, which is really great. So you're actually stakeholder of that. And that alone, that field has currently a production of 800 barrels, and with reinvestment, we expect that it has around 1,000 barrels per day in, of course, a projected oil producing reserves. So, and this has a productivity lifespan at least for 25 plus years. So it's really, really amazing. Does currently make 25% internal rate of revenue, and has a potential, if reinvested, of a 40% internal rate of revenue. So this is one of the projects. Now, all our focus is obviously on the polystream, the plastic to fuel processing. So Ryan and his team, they want to launch the first plant basically in the US, in the United States, and he has the aim to build up to 100 plants all over the world, focusing mainly on Central and South America. Why? Well, everybody knows plastic is a huge problem. In fact, we believe up to the year well, we are 20. I still think we are 90. Up to the year 2050, we believe there will be more plastic in the ocean, unfortunately, than it will be fish in the ocean, which is pretty sad, but it's a fact. It's a daily fact all over the world where we travel. There is plastic in all the oceans. You don't really see any more beaches which are clean or which not have been cleaned up in the morning before tourists come because of plastics. So this polystream plastic to fuel processing, in a very simple nutshell: plastic in and fuel out on the other side. So I don't need to go into techniques, but that's really what we want to do. That, of course, generates revenue. Revenue, of course, is cash. It's cash flow. It's cash flow for the Store token holders. And then, of course, the next project is the Peru Mineral Reclamation and Remediation Project, or Ecuador. In fact, Ryan Messer is just, I believe, today headed down to Ecuador to inspect one of these fields and to see, everything there real time over there. And this is basically doing good for the environment. It is doing good for the, of course, stakeholders, the shareholders, the token holders of Store. Why? Because as you see, this alone, this field has 7.4 million tons of copper, 40,000 ounces of gold, 1.4 million ounces of silver. Absolutely mind-blowing, amazing. But really, this is a field which old companies, or many, many years ago, have gone in, mining companies, destroyed pretty much the environment, caused a lot of damage there, and took out what they could get back then. Now there's new technologies. With this new technology, you can actually take, of course, everything out. You can go over old material there, and they can use this tailing process, and then, of course, get what is still left, which those mines back then, those mining companies have left in there. At the same time, clean up the environment, has an upside for the company around $2 billion US, which is really great. And then the next cash flow income producing product in Store, again in this one single investment vehicle is the Oklahoma Clean Water Processing Site. As we all know, that of course there's a lot of discussion out there with fracking, water fracking, but what really this is, it's not that, it's basically cleaning that water which was used from the fracking process, and again make it reusable again. So has a potential of an internal rate of revenue of 200%, again another cash flow income producing product. And store, of course, to be liquid, I mean, everybody wants to eventually get liquid, so eventually we want to make the return, eventually we want to realize the return from that investment which we did, and that is store plans, of course, to list it, the list token on an exchange, or do an initial public offering, and pay revenue distribution. So that's going to be the future plans for store. Now, we have said something around 2020, could be 2021. That all depends on how quick a store is, of course, realizing all those projects which it is working on. And then, of course, blockchain-based partnerships as well. So this is basically, in a nutshell, what store is. Again, store is one of the products or from Utopian Global. And again, this is a product which obviously I see it more so like my insurance, like my pension fund, while of course gold and silver, I have to go back there because it changed so much, while gold or silver really is the hedge against inflation. That's my insurance policy. That's what we always have talked about and taught people about. Well, you got to have an insurance policy. You may have a life insurance or whatnot insurance, but of course the ancient insurance policy was always precious metals. Why precious metals? Well, precious metals obviously in Roman times, 100 years ago and now, buys you always the same goods and services. So when we look at the next slide, and I really want to get Bill engaged here, when we look at the history of the world reserve currencies, you see here from really going back as in the 1400s to now going, it's very interesting to see those stats, yet most people don't really know what to do with these stats and why they are so important, why they are important to learn, because when you, of course, understand the history, well, then you can, of course, foresee the future. So maybe, Bill, you want to touch a little bit on that.
Sure, Claudia. Well, primarily, currency or money, as you call it, we trade our time for currencies, should have a store of value. And if it doesn't, you're actually losing a lot of your wealth through the effects of inflation. And of course, most people on the world trade their time for money, of course. And if you're even an inflation rate of 2%, over a period of in your lifetime, you're probably going to lose 75% of your purchasing power of the currency that you're currently earning. So that is why, and this is something I had to learn myself. I was involved in hotel businesses, so I dealt with a lot of cash flow. But until I met Philip Judge in 2003, he really educated me in the process of what is money, what is currency. And of course, since 1971, when President Nixon removed the gold standard from the US dollar, so the US dollar was anchored to gold as a standard, and all other currencies were pegged to the US dollar. Well, since 1971, that's changed. We've had huge expansion of the monetary supply since then, which of course means that our paper currencies have lost value. In fact, historically, all paper currencies eventually go back to zero. And there's been, if you study it, you'll see that there's been thousands of paper currencies that existed in the past no longer exist today, or they've been changed. But each time they do that, of course, it's to transfer wealth away from the people back to the central banking system. It's designed to do that. So that's what people, first of all, need to understand.
And of course, not always was the US dollar the currency, the global currency of the world.
That's true. That was since 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement. Up until the end of the Second World War, it was actually the British pound. And then the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, it became the US dollar. And before, of course, the British pound, you had, of course, the Dutch guilder. You had many other currencies historically being the reserve currency. But we're seeing great change in the world today with money, even cryptocurrencies, of course. But gold has the long history. It's been around for 5,000 years. We just spoke about the story of Joseph, of course. Is it a store of value? It's limited in supply. It's very hard to get, which gives it value. So this is really the unique thing of gold compared to paper currencies. And I'm just looking at your slide here now, Claudia.
Correct. And of course, as you see, what we're really seeing right now is that when we look at the currencies, and we look, of course, what is the reserve currency in the world, which of course still is supposed to be the US dollar. Now we hear all that Venezuela wants to trade with Russia, Russia with Venezuela, Iran. We hear all those things. They all have to do, of course, it's this currency war we hear on the news every day, global trade war. It all goes back. Why? Well, it goes back to the currency, and that's why, of course, central banks are buying up gold like crazy. That's why we see here, when we look at the percentage of allocated reserves in US dollars, is actually going down. So that means less and less people are holding US dollar as a global reserve currency, and that is a problem, isn't it?
Well, one thing that's inevitable in life, and that is change, of course. Nothing ever stays the same. But you must understand and realize there's change happening here. Right now, we see Japan and China being the biggest public sellers of US reserves, which is significant. I mean, China alone has probably trillions of dollars of it. But of course, why would you want to hold on something? And not negative towards the US dollar, it still accounts for probably 70–80% of the world transactions, of course. But why would you want to hold and save in something that loses value over time? It doesn't matter whether it's US dollar, it doesn't matter whether it's euro. I mean, I can remember buying a brand new 5 Series BMW here in Germany back in the end of the 90s, before they changed the currency to euro from the Deutschmark. It cost 50,000 Deutschmarks for a 5 Series BMW. Today, the same car is 50,000 euros plus, so it's more than double the price today. So paper currencies just lose value. When we understand that, that's why it's so important to take some of your traded time. You take your time, you trade for a currency. If it's US dollars, if you're getting paid, let's say you're getting paid $20 an hour, probably half of that goes in taxes. Maybe you want to set up a savings program, 10% of that, and turn that into real assets. Part of that may be gold and silver. Part of that may be store tokens. The store token is a real asset. When you own store, you're owning real assets, and it's going to be an income generating asset. So this is why Utopian Global is a wealth building program. But when you understand paper currencies, what they do and the effect it has on you, you're getting a transfer of wealth away from you. You understand you need to have three things primarily: multiple sources of income, very, very important. We need to be able to double our income in the next 5, 6, 7 years, because that's how fast our paper currency is losing value. Ownership in real assets, some of it's gold and silver, probably the smallest part, to be quite honest. Then you want to have some ownership of assets, such a store, which is going to be income generating assets. These are good long-term things to hold on to.
Absolutely, Bill. And as you see here, and we have been talking, and you have been talking many, many times, and you have challenged people on it, is, well, why a central bank buys gold or silver? Why are they actually on a buying spread at the moment of gold or silver? Why are they do so?
Well, they understand money. They understand that paper currency loses value. I mean, really, gold is it's the cornerstone of their wealth. I mean, billions of dollars are held in reserves around the world. I mean, many people today will be negative towards gold, but here we have the biggest central banks in the world, starting with the United States. We're speaking about Japan. We're talking about, of course, Russia. We're talking about China, of course, significantly increasing their gold holdings. You've got to ask yourself the question: why do they do this? Why are they doing this? But they're not preaching the same story to us, are they? And that's why you need to do your own research and understand how money actually performs. When I say money, I mean paper currencies. And again, I'll just repeat myself. We understand that, when you earn currencies, it loses value. Well, you need to move into plan B and C, don't you? And that's what we really provide here with Utopian Global. I mean, gold, you said earlier on, Claudia, I think in that slide you showed, 1 ounce of gold. This isn't an ounce. This is actually 11.4 shekels. This one, shekel weight. But regardless, that's 99.9 gold. You could actually clothe yourself pretty much for this amount of gold thousands of years ago as you could 100 years ago. Well, 100 years ago, you could actually buy a three-piece suit shirt and tie with a $20 note, you know. But what could you do with this today? I mean, it's lost, you know, over probably, well, they say over 90-95% of its purchasing power, which means you've just got to consider keep earning a lot more. This is why gold's so important. And right now, I mean, gold's had a bit of a breakout. I mean, we had the strongest. I'll just touch on this for a short time, Claudia. I mean, gold is an insurance policy, so you might take out of your commissions, for example, from Utopian Global. You may decide to take some of those commissions, as you've been doing, Claudia, and many people on this call. You might take 10% of your commissions, for example, and convert them directly into precious metals. It's a solid storehouse of wealth. You're preserving where this paper stuff loses value. It doesn't matter whether it's pounds, dollars, euros, Australian dollars. The longer you hold it, the less it's going to buy. Gold, as this example here, shows you it does not. I just mentioned thousands of years ago, 1 ounce of gold would actually clothe a person. 100 years ago, the same deal. 1 ounce of gold or $20 US would actually clothe a person. And today, it doesn't matter where you are, $20 is probably buy you the shoelaces. That's about it. But the same ounce of gold exchanged to any currency in the world is going to clothe you very nicely. That is the store of value. And this is why historically, as Philip Judge told me back in 2003, rulers of empires, royalty, and the financial elite have always put part of their paper wealth. He said there may only be 3 to 5%, but they've always put it into gold. One, because it's wealth preservation. 2, it's highly liquid. And with Utopian Global, it's also very highly liquid. You, as an active member of Utopian Global, if you save in gold and silver, if you want to sell back in the future, it's no problem. You just log into your back office and you can do a sell back. And within 24 hours, those funds are back into your nominated account or back into your e-wallet, and therefore you can actually take it out to your nominated account. So it's a very liquid exchange platform that we have here in precious metals for you. All the gold is produced and certified in Switzerland, and it's also stored in Switzerland. It's also stored at the Loomis International London Bullion Market accredited facility in Dubai as well. But we use Zurich more often. We ship out from Zurich. It's just much easier than doing it from Dubai.
Thank you, Bill. And of course, you can get your gold or silver from as little as 25 euros. That's how you can save actually in it. And you can get, as a customer, your store from 50 euro onwards. So which is pretty amazing. So all what you have to do is obviously register with the person who referred you to Utopian Global, complete your KYC, you know your client, and do your PPM if you buy store, your private placement memorandum, so that you actually become or are this real stakeholder of the store token. And that's basically it. And then you start and you can purchase. Now, if you wish, as Bill says, you know, we also need fast start income, quick income. So if you wish to promote our products and services through our system, our affiliate marketing, network marketing system, well, obviously we do have various ways to get paid as well. And so there's different packages you can purchase, you can entry with. Those are one-time packages, and then they carry a 50 euro monthly membership, so that you can, of course, benefit from the platform of precious metals. You have the wholesale of precious metals, you have the no buyback fees, the Swiss storage, the daily referral income, the premium education, all included in your ecosystem once you become an affiliate for the products and services, for the marketing of the products and services. And so from as little as 99 euro, you really can get started owning a global business all over the world, which is pretty amazing. Obviously, when you get store as well in it. Store obviously is the income producing assets. So really owning and gaining assets which will pay you future income, which is really great. And for the United States citizens, as some of you know, some of you don't, obviously store is being replaced in the packages, and because it's right now not accessible in the United States, so all the packages in the United States are replaced by precious metals, of course hedging your money against inflation, and then you get everything the same. You can also build an international business, and of course the international people who come on board, they can purchase store. We do have investors package, quantum packages to start with 9,000 euro up to 1 million euro. Well, for those people who want to diversify further and want to simply own more assets because they do have more money at their disposal, as you can see here. And then, well, as I said, we have a generous affiliate wealth generation system or plan for you where you can get paid actually different ways. You can get paid daily, weekly, and monthly every time you share our products and services. Pretty amazing, pretty simple. And well, if you have any questions, please let us know or contact the person that invited you actually to this presentation to learn more about how you can get involved with Utopian Global, with the ecosystem of Utopian Global. So with that, I want to say thank you. If you have any questions, let me check out and may address those questions. Maybe Bill, you want to do some final words for you guys? I don't want to hold you up so much longer on this Saturday evening.
Sure, Claudia. Well, again, with Utopian Global, you're owning real assets. Whether it be store, you're having engagement and ownership of real assets with a legal document that binds you to those ownership of those assets, which will be income generating. And secondly, you have gold and silver. Now, here's one of our gold products that we produce. This is done for a large church group in America, actually, some years back. Actually, it was done for Martin Luther King's granddaughter for their particular group. That's pure gold, because they wanted to encourage their members to actually save in real money, as in gold and silver. And this is based on the story. The image is based. We designed this based on the story of Joseph and the Pharaoh. We also had different collectibles that we produce and still produce in Argol Horais Refinery in Switzerland. This is our King David 3-ounce silver coin. On the story of King David, we have the story of Moses of Well. They're all certified to the highest purity and quality of production that you'd expect from a Swiss refiner such as Argol Horais. So I like to save in these, but I also like to own real assets such as store as well. And either way, you're building real wealth. And with the gold and silver, it's really highly liquid wealth as well, so you can revert back to cash if you need to, because we do still live in a cash world. Back to you, Claire.
Yes, and that's the point. And the great thing is as well, you can even get engaged into, if you wish, owning Bitcoin. Why? Well, if you make commissions, you can actually take these commissions out if you wish, either in precious metals, either in cash, or either in Bitcoin. So it's a really, really amazing platform, which we do have here with Utopian Global. So if you have any further questions, please let us know or to contact the person that invited you today.
Well, it's good that you raised the question of Bitcoin, Claudia, because I get many people asking about Bitcoin and gold. I mean, there's different reports. I think we mentioned it as well regarding this asteroid that's loaded with gold, etc. You know, so gold will then become, of course, it won't have the limited supply because this asteroid has, you know, billions of or trillions of value held in there. Gold is always going to be a limited supply. And Bitcoin, to me, is gold 2.0. I love the concept of Bitcoin in the blockchain. But you know what? I heard a very successful and actually well-educated person speak about Bitcoin the other day, and he referred to Bitcoin as a rock. Sorry, he referred to gold as a rock. Now, gold is a lot more than a rock. I mean, it's used, half of it's probably used around the world in fine jewelry. I mean, look at the elegance and beauty. You could put this bit of gold at the bottom of an ocean. The element is absolutely special and unique. There's nothing else like it on that we've discovered on planet Earth or abroad, of course. And it could be at the bottom of the ocean for 1,000 years. You pull it off, and it's going to shine like that. It's truly quite remarkable in that sense. It has real value. Every phone that you have, electronic instruments, has gold. You don't see Bitcoins in there. Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer payment system, very, very special. So I'm not one to actually compare Bitcoin to gold in that. I think gold's way ahead in many areas, but as a peer-to-peer payment system, Bitcoin is certainly a gold 2.0, maybe it's gold 2.3 in one sense, because it has many other attributes where gold is not so easy to carry around, whereas Bitcoin has its benefits there. But it's tangible wealth. I love the gold. It's also been around for 5,000 years. Bitcoin is still relatively new. But where is it going? Well, it's part of the new 21st century economy, isn't it? And I'm very bullish on it. I like it. But I just wanted to touch those points on my views regarding gold and Bitcoin.
diversification is key. We always talked about diversification. We always talked about it, not put all your eggs in one basket. You got to have a diversified basket, which is really key. So finishing up here, I just want to just mention as well, next week we're going to be in UK. So we will be in London and Birmingham, but really a Birmingham event, which we're going to do. That's going to be the 6th, I believe. Yes, it's going to be the 6th that we're going to be in Birmingham. So the founder of Utopian Global, Bill Rowell, as you see here, he will be in Birmingham, as well as the CEO of Store, Ryan Messer, and his partner, Randall Eddington. They are going to be in Birmingham. Myself, I also will come to Birmingham. The event is organized by some of our leaders in the UK. That is Bill Wilmot and Karen Creasy and Sean Sherman and John Bowen, Mirel Yagis. They're all organizing that event, and a few others, if I didn't mention everybody here. So the team is organizing that event in Birmingham. I really would encourage you, if you are in the UK, I mean, Birmingham is central. You can get there from London. You can get there from Manchester. You can get there from many places. It's just probably a 2 or 3 hours drive. If you really want to learn to understand more about gold, silver, understand more about income producing assets, meet the people, see in their eyes, and learn from them, and then learn about how you can actually make fast income through the affiliate system, well, I invite you and I suggest you to come to this presentation. It's going to be a few hours of your time. Yes, it is, but it may as well is going to change your life. So with that, I want to say thank you again. And of course, I'm going to see you there, Birmingham, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So it's 3 hours out of your time, not that much. And I'm sure you will be going out of this event satisfied. So with that, thank you so much again, and thank you, Bill, and have all a great Saturday.
Well, thanks, Claudia, and thanks everyone, and I look forward to seeing everyone in Birmingham as well. So enjoy your weekend. Thank you.